if you were thinking about selling that?
Campers, the values are huge right now. Boats.
Wow.
The values are used, right?
Okay.
If you're in the market to buy a boat used, buy a camper used, buy a car used, or buy a house, don't. Right?
Wait.
If you want to buy low or at least buy lower and sell higher.
Welcome to today's Retirees with Certified Financial Planner Wayne Maslyk of Great Lakes Benefits and Wealth Management. Anchored in family values, Wayne offers practical advice to help you get the most out of your retirement years. For more information, visit today'sretirees.com. Now, here's your host.
Welcome to today's Retirees with Certified Financial Planner Wayne Maslyk of Great Lakes Benefits and Wealth Management. Today we are going to be talking about finances, of course, and I'm going to put Wayne on the spot right off the bat. Is that okay?
Sure.
I was having a conversation with a fella the other day, and you know how you've always said, you have a certain amount of money that you feel comfortable with to sit in liquidity, checking account or whatever.
Savings. Money markets.
And he does, and he said, I've had this sum of money in there, and I took it that it was, $30,000 or thereabouts, which is a nice chunk of change for your safe money, I mean, for your
I call that your happy bucket.
Your happy bucket.
Yeah. Everyone should have a happy number.
Right.
They keep at the local bank. So that's what we're talking about here.
So, and just in the conversation, he said, I've been looking at, stock market is on, this meteoric rise, and it has been for at least a year, maybe more. He said, so I went to my guy that I deal with, and he said, I told him to take, my thinking is about half of that and put it into the market. If he would have come to you and asked you that question.
I wasn't his guy, right?
What would you, I just was curious, what would you have said?
And so what do I always say?
It depends.
It depends, right. Yeah, I'd have to find out more information. But, one, you want to keep enough in the bank that makes you feel content and happy that it's there when you see your statements, but not antsy, like I'm not earning anything on this money.
Sure.
It's way too much to be in the bank, whatever the number is. I need to invest some of it. Most of my clients will keep 10 to 50,000 in the local bank. I mean, but I have clients that have 100 or more. Some 200,000-300,000.
Okay.
That's just what makes them, they're multimillionaires, but that's what they like to keep there. So everyone's different. Once you have the happy number and you have excess to do, what to do with, then you got to figure out, do you want to keep that safe, right? Earning much higher than the bank, but no market risk.
Sure. Or
are you willing to take risk with it? And then if you're willing to take risk with it, how much risk would he be willing to take?
Okay.
A little bit, kind of moderate, or aggressive, let's roll the dice.
Sure.
The more aggressive he wanted to be, that's more stocks. Now's not the time to go from cash to the stock market.
Why?
Right? We're at record highs right now.
Okay.
And that is the topic of today's show is, when's the right time to buy? So, again, it depends. Depends on what we're talking about and depends where the market is for that particular thing.
Sure.
Market's at record highs now. If you're going to go in the market from cash, in my opinion, you want a dollar cost average over time right now, say a year's time or more, and you want to buy in market weakness if possible. When we have those
dips,
big 1 or 2% pullbacks 1 or 2 days in a row or, throughout the week, that's ideal right now.
Sure.
The best thing to do is be patient and wait till we have some pullback.
Sure. Well, and it was just interesting to me, and I don't know who his guy is. It was just it was sort of just in a passing comment with some other things we were talking about.
Yeah, depend on his age too. If he's a 30-year-old, it wouldn't matter if the market's high right now. Get in, and you want to leave it set for a few decades.
Sure.
If it's retirement money.
Right.
If he's going to need the money in a few years to do something with, well, no.
Right.
You should just stay out of the market right now. So that's why I say it depends. A lot of variables. And just keep in mind, if his guy or girl was a broker, they sell things, right? Their job is to sell investments or account, whatever. That's their job. Their job isn't to be a financial planner or fiduciary in most cases. So they're going to get the person will get a sales pitch from the broker. That's fine. That's what they do. There's nothing wrong with it unless you're looking for planning and advice over the years.
And that's kind of we've talked about this on previous shows. Your goal and what you do as being a certified financial planner is you help the family put a plan together, not just buy or sell stocks.
No.
Or
Even though
funds.
buying and selling investments or stocks and bonds are part of the plan, but it's just a piece of the plan.
Sure.
There's tax planning. There's retirement planning or retirement income planning. There's estate planning. There's planning for future nursing home or home health care costs. There's planning for leaving inheritances to kids. I mean, all this goes into one plan.
Sure.
Right? And each person out there has different, they put different weighting or different importance on each of those topics, but investing is just part of the plan.
Sure. And that's one of the things that I like about working with Wayne. When I say working, on this program, I've learned a lot. Now, I'm not a CFP. I had a guy call me one day, a friend. He said, "What would you recommend?" I said, "I would recommend calling Wayne at 866-626-3990 because I don't do this. I'm just here to facilitate the questions." But when we get back, we're going to talk about when is the right time to get into this. And,
But when's normally the right time to buy?
Well, typically you want to buy low and sell high, right?
Right. Did your friend just do that?
Well, I would think not, unless we think the market is going to go on keep this roller or keep this rocket ship rolling.
And never pull back. But just based on history, he's buying high. Right. If he wanted to do what you're talking about, he wanted to do or did already, last March or April would have been the perfect time to go from cash into the markets.
Sure.
Right. But we didn't know when the virus would, pull back, when the markets and economy would reopen. So by doing that, it's not easy for somebody to do.
Right.
But that would have been a great time to do. And we did that a lot for our clients. And,
Sure.
we had clients get more aggressive at that time. We had clients come out of cash and go into the markets. We had clients pull from safe money and go into the markets.
Wow.
And, just those folks made a ton. Right. But they have to have nerves of steel to do that.
Right. Yeah, because if it just continues to plummet, like it can for occasionally. Well, listen, we got to take a quick break. Go to Wayne's website, todaysretirees.com, todaysretirees.com. Pick up the phone and sit down with Wayne and let him help you put a plan together. 866-626-3990. We'll be right back.
So we've all heard the word rollover when referring to an investment account at work or your 401k, your 403b, your 457 plan. What do you do with that when you've left your job and your 401k or other retirement plan is still at your old employer? Or what if you've retired? One thing you don't want to do is you don't want to leave your money, your retirement account, in your employer's 401k. Quite frankly, your old employer or current employer is the boss of your retirement account. So if you have questions about what to do with your rollover, you roll it to Wayne. Get it in your own hands where you have the whole universe of investments and choices, not just what your employer tells you can pick from. So contact my office for a free consultation on how to roll over your old retirement account.
Back to today's retirees with certified financial planner Wayne Maslyk of Great Lakes Benefits and Wealth Management. We are talking today about when is the right time to get in, right time to buy. Does that also mean the right time to sell? Because in my brain, if I buy, let's just, here in Northern Ohio, if I buy Cedar Fair, for instance, I buy it at X dollars, the only time I make money is when I sell it. I mean, it's just sitting there. So I have to be able to juggle that ball.
Well, with stocks, some stocks pay a dividend, right? Sometimes dividends come and go depending on what happens. But yeah, I mean, if, great time to buy Cedar Fair last April, May, right? You'd make a killing, right, if you sold it today.
Sure.
And that goes with many stocks. But, who'd have thought an amusement park would be able to survive no clients, no
Right.
visitors
Yeah.
for a period of time, and no one knew what that period of time would be.
Right.
So that's why all that's a gamble. But, yeah, like just generally speaking, before we get on to the next subject, now is a good time to take profits if you need money or if you want to get more money safe because you're selling high. You're locking those gains in by selling, and the market can't take it back once you do that. I don't mean selling everything. I mean just you consider some repositioning, rebalancing, whatever.
Sure.
And the time to buy or get in the market from cash, if you were coming from a bank account or you sold a house or business or something, you want to be patient until we get some weakness in the market.
Sure.
But I don't want to talk about the market today regarding that subject.
Okay.
We just wanted to touch on it like we did. I want to talk about other things because I'm seeing a lot of people do some interesting things. Okay.
For instance.
For
He's got
instance.
my
Right? We get, and we'll kind of expound on these two topics: houses and automobiles.
Sure. Yeah. Right.
Okay, lots going on in those two categories, and the same principle, buy low, sell high, also applies to homes and automobiles. Right, and I see so many people. Watch their pennies. They don't eat out, or they clip coupons, or they look for sales and deals. And then when it comes to the biggest ticket items in their lives, a home or an automobile, they totally mess up and end up paying the most possible for the item.
Sure.
So all the money they saved over the decades, clipping coupons and watching their spending, they just threw it out the window, And I just scratch my head sometimes. So I'll give you an example. Right now, the real estate market is through the roof.
Right.
Right. A residence right now is worth more than it ever has been, ever.
Sure.
And there's still some people that aren't selling
Okay.
or are selling and then buying.
Okay.
The new one.
They're moving up.
Moving up or changing locations or
Right.
changing size or square footage.
Sure.
But they're selling high and buying high. Right? So that's not ideal.
Right.
Sell high, buy low. So the right way to do it is to sell if you're in the market, if it's not your forever home or ever considered selling, now's when you want to do it. Whether it's convenient or whether you feel like packing up or dealing with the move or whatever, now it's high. This is when you're supposed to sell an item, a stock, a bond, a home, or whatever. And ideally, if you want to do it the way you should do it, quotes, you sell now and you rent for a period of time until the real estate market pulls back to norm or halfway norm or actually has a correction, and then you buy.
Sure.
So you're getting the best of both worlds. You got the best bang for your home, and then you bought your replacement home at the right price.
Sure.
That's how you get ahead. That's how you take advantage of buying low and selling high. If you have the flexibility to do that.
Right.
You don't have to rent an apartment, right? You could rent a condo. You could rent a home, a single-family home. There's many options that you can do.
Right.
That's how you pocket the most for your money. If you go through all the time and all the effort trying to find sales and do coupons and cash back on credit cards and flight miles or airline miles, whatever people do, grocery shopping, trying to find the best deals.
Right.
Why wouldn't they do it on the biggest check they're ever going to write in their life, their home?
Sure.
With most people.
Right.
And they don't.
Right.
This thing will peter out, prices will come way back down,
Right.
and you'll see for sale signs all over the place.
Sure. Now, put on your prognosticator hat. Is this pullback or is this correction? Is this 5 years from now?
Who knows?
We just have to wait.
You don't know.
Right.
Yeah, that's the inconvenience. If,
Sure.
If that's the gamble or whatever. If you want your own house, well, you could certainly go buy a much cheaper home.
Mm-hmm.
If you just can't rent anywhere or can't,
Right.
imagine yourself renting and not knowing when the market's going to, well, then you just buy a much cheaper home, so you're not going to take as much of a hit when you sell that and buy your new one.
Sure.
But you're going to make the effort to save money in all the other areas of your life.
Right.
Why wouldn't you do the same with your home and try to get the most money for your home if you had any inclination of selling it, in the near future?
Sure.
You say, yeah, we're thinking of selling in 2, 3, 4. Well, you should sell now.
Right.
If you want the most for it.
Right. And I heard someone say as well, the capital gains taxes, if it's like another home, but if you've lived in it for long years, you don't even have to pay capital gains, do you?
If it's your main residence 2 of the last
Right.
5 years, yeah, there's no tax. You get
So-
to make all that money and pay no tax, and you don't even have to buy another house to do it.
Right.
So, and that may go away.
Sure.
I mean, this administration is talking about raising the capital gains tax and bringing it back in certain instances
Sure.
where there hasn't been.
Right.
So there's another reason.
Right. So just like Wayne's saying, you buy low, you sell high. For housing stock right now is a great time if you're thinking about it to do just that.
And when we come back to the next segment, next thing we're talking about are automobiles.
That's a good one. I was talking to an auto dealer this week, and we'll talk about that when we get back. And go to Wayne's website, todaysretirees.com, todaysretirees.com. Or make an appointment to sit down with Wayne at 866-626-3990. We'll be back right after this.
A certified financial planner is a true professional, a well-rounded, holistic planner that helps you in all areas of your financial life. Estate planning, tax planning, financial planning, insurance planning. We have to sit for a 10-hour, 2-day exam, at least back when I took the test. It's not just a weekend designation where you go somewhere for a couple days, pay a couple $100, and now you have letters behind your name. One thing I think is important is that you try and find an independent certified financial planner. Somebody that doesn't work for a big firm. I myself own my company, Great Lakes Benefits and Wealth Management. The buck stops with me, an independent, certified financial planner, one of the only ones on the north coast of Ohio.
Visit todaysretirees.com or call 866-626-3990 to schedule a no-cost appointment with Wayne.
So we've all heard the word rollover when referring to an investment account at work or your 401k, your 403b, your 457 plan. What do you do with that when you've left your job and your 401k or other retirement plan is still at your old employer? Or what if you've retired? And one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to leave your money, your retirement account, in your employer's 401k. Quite frankly, your old employer or current employer is the boss of your retirement account. So if you have questions about what to do with your rollover, you roll it to Wayne. Get it in your own hands where you have the whole universe of investments and choices, not just what your employer tells you can pick from. So contact my office for a free consultation on how to roll over your old retirement account.
Visit todaysretirees.com or call 866-626-3990 to schedule a no-cost appointment with Wayne.
Welcome back to today's Retirees with Certified Financial Planner Wayne Maslyk of Great Lakes Benefits and Wealth Management. When we left the last segment, we told you we were going to be talking about, well, we've been talking in this whole program about when's the right time to buy and sell. Obviously, you want to try to buy low and sell high.
Right.
That's
Pretty simple.
Almost anything that you do, you want to buy, you want to sell it higher than
Yeah,
what you
and normally that statement is referencing the stock market, but it should also apply to people to big ticket items.
Right.
Because it's, home is a huge ticket, and so is an automobile.
And that's what when we told the folks when we came back, we were going to be talking about, your vehicle, your auto, your pickup truck. Everybody's buying a pickup truck these days, it seems like. If you can find them.
Yeah, so right now, I mean, you have, just like the housing industry, the prices are at their all-time high. It's the same for used vehicles right now.
Sure.
If you have a late model vehicle, the pricing that you can get on a trade-in or if you sell it yourself is thousands and thousands more, than it was a year or two ago.
Sure.
So now is the time to trade in your used vehicle, late model used vehicle. It lasts 7 to 10 years. As long as you don't turn around and buy another used vehicle. Kind of the same with the sale of the house if you don't, right?
Right.
Now, if you're going to buy new, that's fine. And on new, there's incentives aren't great right now. Some companies have good incentives. The inventory is terrible.
Right.
Right? They just these car dealers cannot. Some of the makes don't have inventory. There are others that aren't having an inventory problem.
Sure.
Okay, so depending on what you're buying, if you're going to do a trade-in and then buy a new car and you can actually find one you like, that's fine, right? But you don't want to, trade in your new car or used car and then buy another used car. Because again, you're going to sell high and buy high.
Sure.
You should trade it in and buy a new one, or if you can, trade it in and wait. Right? If you have a third vehicle or fourth or whatever, if you can work it. If you're going to go through the effort to try and find the cheapest gas in town, right? To try and save money on your groceries, to do your use the credit card to get you why wouldn't people go through the same effort to get the most for their house or the most for their used vehicle?
Sure. Makes sense.
I don't get it, though.
Yeah.
I mean, and some people do,
Right.
but a lot don't. And, I just wanted to the show's kind of a little off topic compared to our previous shows, but it does have to do with financial planning and doing the right thing and being prudent with your money. And this is everyday stuff here.
Sure.
And this is something people can do on their own. We're not talking stock market,
Right.
We're talking homes and automobiles.
Right.
I mean, you can go to givemeyourvin.com and type in your model, mileage, and everything, and get a trade-in price right now. They'll write you a check in a week.
Wow.
Come get it. And the prices are so high. It's give me the VIN or give me your VIN or give me the VIN. I think it's give me the VIN. And CarMax, same thing. I mean, they're writing checks. The give me the VIN, I think, buys 1,000 cars a week.
Wow.
For people like you and I. You don't have to do with the dealer trade-in and go through the, right? Or even dealer trade-ins are super high right now.
Wow.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
So is the same, for the toys, the motorcycles and things like that, if you were thinking about selling that?
Campers, the values are huge right now. Boats.
Wow.
The values are used, right?
Okay.
If you're in the market to buy a boat, used, buy a camper, used, buy a car, used, or buy a house, don't. Right?
Wait.
If you want to buy low or at least buy lower and sell higher, wait till you're buying or paying a price that's low.
Sure. Well, it makes sense. The
There's other. I just thought of one other thing. The building industry. If you're going to do a room addition or some type of remodeling or build a new house, now's not the time.
Right.
Lumber prices are coming down and materials, but availability is scarce and prices are still high. So don't do it. Right? If you're a person trying to watch your pennies and all that, why throw them away by doing the wrong thing with all the items we just talked about on this show?
Sure. And that's one of the nice things that you help families do is put this plan together, but also make some common sense decisions in the plan.
Yes. It's not like in a being show. It's not just stocks and bonds or mutual funds or annuities or whatever. I mean, there's a lot involved in managing your money, up to retirement and through retirement. These topics today have a lot to do with it. So
your client, before he goes and buys the new vehicle, or you're thinking about housing change or whatever, he picks up the phone and calls Wayne and says, Wayne, this is what we're thinking about.
A lot do, but too many don't. I had a client, he just stopped in the other day, and they just said, so we have a minute, we're thinking about buying a tractor, right? A nice tractor, John Deere for their big yard with buckets and backhoes and everything on it. And then they want to talk about, should they do zero financing or should they just pay cash, and what accounts should we pull it from?
Sure.
That's why I'm there.
Right.
I mean, yes, they should. Right? Come in, stop by. I'm there to be a resource for them. So they're paying for me. Right? Through our money management fees and that. Use me.
Sure. And we've talked about this on previous shows. They should be having this, or your client should be having this conversation 2 or 3 times a year to make sure everything's in.
Just a typical review 2 or 3 times a year.
Right.
But there's things that come up in the middle of the year, they should absolutely come in.
Absolutely.
The more the better.
Right.
Then they don't make a mistake.
Right. Well, friends, we're out of time.
Sometimes they don't want to hear my answer, though. Right?
Well, but the Bible says in the multitude of counselors there's safety.
Right.
Even if we don't
listen
or take the advice, we know where we're going.
You at least got some feedback, too.
Right.
Yeah.
And we know what the consequences might be.
Yeah.
So, then we can make the dumb decision.
And I could have been wrong, too. I could give bad advice now and then, So, maybe not listening to me was the right thing. But, most of the time I could bring value to things like that.
Absolutely. Well, friends, we are out of time. Thank you for being with us. Make those decisions. Use common sense in doing that. But when you're buying and selling, make sure that you are listening to this program. Call Wayne's office at 866-626-3990. We'll see you the next time.
Thanks for tuning in to today's Retirees with Certified Financial Planner Wayne Maslyk of Great Lakes Benefits and Wealth Management. Visit todaysretirees.com or call 866-626-3990 to schedule a no-cost appointment with Wayne. Today's Retirees is brought to you by Great Lakes Benefits and Wealth Management, family-focused retirement and tax planning services, anchored in family values. Information and opinions discussed on Today's Retirees do not necessarily reflect the opinions of this station. Opinions expressed should not be substituted for individualized consultation with a qualified financial advisor. For specific information, call 866-626-3990 or visit todaysretirees.com.